Hindi na hindi naman po siguro confidential pag kung ang pagbibilhan mo ay mga drugstore. Kasi ang confidential po mismo ay yung paggagamitan, hindi yung pagbibilhan. Magkaibang bagay po kasi yun.
Yung mga grocery na binilhan ng mga sari-saring groceries at supplies, hindi ba confidential dapat ang mga pangalan ng grocery na yan?
Hindi naman po kailangan maging confidential yung pangalan ng mga groceries. Katulad nga po ng sinabi ko, ang confidential ay yung paggagamitan, hindi yung pagbibilhan. At magkaibang bagay po kasi yun.
Yung hardware stores na pinagbilhan ng mga tables and chairs tsaka desktop, hindi ba confidential yung mga pangalan ng mga hardware stores na yan?
Hindi rin po necessarily na confidential yung pangalan ng hardwares dahil yun nga po, hindi naman confidential yung pinagbilan kundi yung paggagamitan ng kanilang pondo.
Your Honor.
At this juncture, Your Honor, may we
With the permission of
manifest?
counsel for the panel of prosecutors. Yes, what is the pressure of
Your
the
Honor,
counsel
may
for this one?
we move to strike out the responses of the witness to those questions as he's not competent and qualified to answer, especially since he is not pointing to any provision of the JC as to his opinion on whether confidential o hindi ang mga pangalan ng mga drugstores, ang mga pangalan ng mga sari-sari stores, Your Honors. I think that is beyond his competence, Your Honor, as an auditor.
If I may respond.
Unless, Your Honor, he can point to a specific provision in the joint circular.
Your Honor,
Counsel
please.
for the panel for prosecutors, Attorney Gatchalian may respond before the
Your
chair
Honor,
makes a ruling.
please, Your Honor. First of all, they're asked and answered. Counsel should have timely objected when being asked. 3 times he was asked. Secondly, Your Honor, I don't think it is accurate to say that this has no basis because earlier, pinaghirapan po namin pakita yung mga particular provisions ng Joint Circular 2015 para i-point out ano-ano ang mga pwedeng gamitan ng confidential funds at ano-ano ang pwedeng paggamit or bawal na paggamit ng confidential funds. And this witness, Your Honor, based on the circular, did say that whatever activity that is must be related to the physical and financial plans submitted by the Office of the Vice President and or the DepEd. For instance, tables and chairs, what particular surveillance activity or operation or terrorist surveillance are tables and chairs and desktops and medicines and supplies related to? The payment of rewards, Your Honor. Again, this witness cited the particular provision of the joint circular that says the payment of reward should not stop there. It should point, Your Honor, according to the joint circular, it should point to particular documents that would show or point to that activity by which the rewards were deserved, Your Honor. So
Chair
it's
will make
very
a
clear
ruling.
in the circular, Your Honor.
Chair will make a ruling. Asked and answered is correctly pointed out by counsel for the panel of prosecutors. Aside from that, the witness is competent to testify as to how he evaluated the submissions and the response letters given by the Office of the Vice President in relation to the AOMC issued that were all based on JMC number 15-01.
Your Honor,
yes,
I will
counsel
not
for
be asking for reconsideration and I will submit to the ruling of the court. I just want to make it of record that when we say asked and answered, Your Honors, I gave leeway to the opposing counsel to ask the question basically because I did not think the question was objectionable. But it is the answer that I'm asking to be stricken out based on the competence of the witness because there is no provision under the JC that says ano yung sari-sari store ay hindi confidential. But again, Your Honor, I just wanted to put that on the record but I will abide by the ruling of the Honorable Presiding
duly
Officer,
noted,
Your Honor.
counsel for the respondent, and you may note a continuing objection should the counsel for the panel of prosecutors continue with this line of questioning. Attorney
Thank you,
Gatchalian, you
Your
may
Honor.
proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this juncture, Your Honor, may we manifest for the record that in accordance with our request for stipulation, we had presented for stipulation to counsel for the respondent 845 acknowledgement receipts, Your Honor, that would show recipients of the various amounts mentioned in relation to disbursement of confidential funds, their names, what they were spent for, and the dates of receipts, Your Honor. Sadly, counsel for the respondent has refused, despite this being common exhibits for the prosecution and defense, Your Honor. Counsel has refused to stipulate. May I repeat that now? We are not stipulating as to the contents, which will be properly identified in part, because we will not present all 845, Your Honor, documents. But may we know from counsel if he
What does
will
counsel for respondent say?
attest to its existence, and that these were documents they themselves, Your Honor, submitted to the 𝐶OA-𝐸𝐸 by way of their liquidation. These are their very own documents by way of liquidation to the confidential funds, which were allotted and spent by the Office of the Vice President and the DepEd. But for the meantime, for the Office of the Vice President, Your Honor, these
Attorney po?
very same documents are what they submitted to the 𝐶OA-𝐸𝐸, Your Honor.
Attorney po?
Your Honor, I beg the indulgence of the Honorable Court as well as the distinguished opposing counsel, but we really cannot stipulate on these matters precisely because the insinuation that this was the very documents that the OVP and DepEd submitted to 𝐶OA is very much in question, Your Honors, because we can easily raise the issue on chain of custody. I'm not saying we will, but that is always on the table. And precisely, Your Honors, although they are labeled as common exhibits, we marked them separately, Your Honor. We did not have markings on the same documents, Your Honor. And that is our position. But again, I beg the indulgence and the patience, Your Honor, of the distinguished opposing counsel and the Honorable Court.
Can I just,
Counsel,
my last manifestation, Your Honor, anent this acknowledgement receipts, Your Honor. You will note from the acknowledgement receipts that these are certified true copies. Certified true copies of receipts submitted to the 𝐶OA-𝐸𝐸, Your Honor. They're not documents from the prosecution. They are documents which this witness, by way of subpoena, duces tecum, and testificandum, produced before this court, Your Honor. So the provenance, the source of these documents, and there is a certification issued by his office, show that there should be no doubt as to where these documents came from. As to their existence, Your Honor, there should be no doubt.
May the presiding officer ask, are we talking about the same number of documents to begin with? 847, correct, counsel?
845, Your Honor.
45? Counsel for the respondent?
I'm confirming now, Your Honor.
Are the common exhibits for both prosecution and respondent 845 documents?
Your Honor, the problem here is during the marking, there were inconsistencies with the number of ARs that were presented between each party, Your Honor. And that is why we cannot stipulate on the same. Now, as to the question on whether we have the same number for the fourth quarter, we are still verifying, Your Honor, but I'm afraid I will waste the court's time now if we verify further.
Anyway, counsel, Attorney Kapunan, unfortunately, if they are not willing to stipulate, the court cannot twist their hand into so stipulating for whatever reason they may have. So kindly proceed as you intended to.
We submit, Mr. Presiding Officer, Mr. Witness. Nung nag-evaluate ka ng post-audit evaluation ng documents, liquidation documents submitted to you, your office by the Office of the Vice President, was there evidence or documents submitted to your office to show how payments were made?
Ang tanging sinamit lang po nila in support of their payments po ay yung documentary evidence payments in the form of acknowledgement receipts.
Okay. And will you please tell this court, this impeachment court, if you in the course of your post-audit, carefully evaluated acknowledgement receipts?
Ang ginawa ko po, upon receipt of those acknowledgement receipts, tinabulate ko po lahat ng acknowledgement receipts na yon based on their purpose, based on their, kung kailan po yung dates of payment, and then based on the amount po na binayaran nila as provided po doon sa acknowledgement receipts.
You mentioned, Mr. Witness, that you prepared your own tabulation?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you bring them with you, this tabulation?
I brought it po with me.
Can you share them with us?
Your Honor, may I be allowed po to share the tabulation?
Witness may refer to his notes with respect to the tabulation. Yes.
Your Honor, please, I think defense counsel will note that this is not a pre-marked document during the pre-trial, but we had made a reservation that we will be marking documents in the course of our this witness testimony.
Assisting counsel for the parties may approach the witness and view the document being referred to by the witness.
Susuriin ho ng defense team ang isang dokumento na ayon nga kay Attorney Lorna Capuya, Attorney Lorna, ito ho ay unmarked document. Pero dati na hong nag-manifest ang House Prosecution Team, ayon pa rin kay Attorney Kapunan, na during the course of the trial ay magkakaroon po ng ganito, mga unmarked documents na ipepresenta ho ng House Prosecution Panel. Balik ko tayo.
Later on, you may do so. The clerk of court is so instructed to make the corresponding marking after, in due course, rather. Witness may answer the question.
Can you repeat the question po?
Okay, Mr. Witness, you said earlier in answer to my question that you received acknowledgement receipts and that you made a tabulation. Kung ano-ano itong mga acknowledgement receipts.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We don't have a copy now and we reserve the right to provide counsel for the respondent a copy, but can you share with us your findings based on your notes or your tabulation?
Based on my tabulation po, napansin ko na some of the payments were dated December 2023, which is beyond the scope po nung covered ng kanilang cash advances. And yun nga po, katulad nung nasabi ko kanina, may mga payment of rewards po sila, either in cash, in medicines, and in various goods. Pero wala na po silang sinamit na any document na support or evidence, document evidencing the success of the information gathering activity on account of the information given by the informer. And also,
how did you prepare your tabulation?
Noong time po na binigay sa akin yung acknowledgement receipts, doon ko po tinabulate yung payments based doon nga po sa purpose po ng payment, doon sa date po ng payment and the amount po na binayaran doon sa recipients.
Will your tabulation show, and can you share with us if it does, ano ang sinabi mong mga purposes na naka-indicate?
Yes po, nakalagay po sa tabulation ko yung purpose.
Can you read from your notes, please? On page 1.
Your Honor, just to manifest for the record
Counsel
while he's perusing his notes that when I inspected the document, it seems to be a privately encoded document, a printout without any signature of who prepared it.
Do you
Just
confirm,
a manifestation, Your Honor, just to put that
Do you
on
confirm,
record.
Mr. Witness?
Yes po, Your Honor.
Okay.
Since it is a personal notes po, so hindi ko na po pinirmahan yung
Duly
tabulation.
noted.
How many pages is your tabulation?
$19 pages po.
Okay. Your Honor, please, this P-29, P-1-29, which is a tabulation consisting of 19 pages, we will request that they, at the appropriate time, be submarked as P-29-A up to end series, Your Honor. Now,
So ordered.
can you read from your tabulation? What is in page 1? How many names are there? Total, if you recall. And based on your tabulation.
Can you repeat your question po?
Based sa tabulation na ginawa mo, na sinabi mo na summary ng mga acknowledgement receipts, how many is the total of the acknowledgement receipts?
Based on the acknowledgement receipts po, ang lumalabas na expenses ay 125,150,000.
125 million
150,000.
150,000. For what period is this, Mr. Witness?
Based on the documents po na submitted to us, December 21 to 31, 2022. Pero katulad nga po ng sinabi ko, some of the dates po dun sa acknowledgement receipts ay naka-dated December 2023.
Okay. Sinabi mo na ang total is 125,150,000. Magkano ba ang binigay na confidential funds?
Based on the documents submitted to 𝐒𝐵𝐢, 125 million pesos po.
May discrepancy. Hindi tugma, 150,000 na butal.
Based on the documents po, yes, may discrepancy po yung acknowledgement receipts and the accomplishment report.
Okay. Thank you for your pointing that out. Ano pa ang dapat malaman namin sa tabulation mo?
Meron po silang, katulad po nung sinabi ko kanina, meron silang purchases na ginawa. Pero yun nga po, supported lang po ng acknowledgement receipts instead of sales invoices or official receipts.
Do you have an amount, Mr. Witness?
May I approach, Your Honor?
Counsel Meduso.
I think nasa notice of suspension po yung amount. May I be allowed po to refer to the notice of suspension?
Okay. At
This
the,
is a stipulated document, right, Counsel?
yes, Your Honor. The notice of suspension is.
The
We
notice
will
of suspension.
We will ask again the question in due course.
Kindly ask the question again, Counsel for the panel of prosecutors. Witness is asking for permission to refer to the notice of suspension to answer your question. Assisting counsels may approach.
Based on this notice of suspension, actually wala pong total pero nandito po yung breakdown ng amounts per type of purchase po.
Okay. Can we go through the breakdown of amounts?
Opo.
Based on your notice of suspension, which is a common exhibit of
As
the
to the-
prosecution and the defense.
As to the various goods which were given as rewards, 34,857,000. As to the medicines which were given as rewards,
34 million for rewards.
as to the medicines po which were given as rewards, 24,930,000. As to the purchase supplies, 11,813,000 pesos. As to the tables and chairs, 500,000 pesos. And as to desktop computers and printers, 3 million pesos.
What else, Mr. Witness?
Hindi pa rin po nila pala sinubmit yung proof of submission noong revised accomplishment report to the Office of the President, the Senate President, and the Speaker of the House.
Ngayon. If we show you a select few of these acknowledgement receipts, would you be able to identify them?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, can we ask our attorney, Mark Peña? Can I mention his name because his mother daw is watching?
Assisting counsels may approach for both
Attorney
parties.
Mark Peña.
Paano na ma-identify yun?
Your Honor, the witness is being presented for the record 845 acknowledgement receipts. In a box, and for purposes of reference, these have been marked as Exhibits P-1-8 and series for the prosecution.
How many boxes, counsel?
3 boxes, Your Honor.
What was the folder earlier given to the witness by Attorney Peña?
The folder given, Your Honor, is just one of the folders, Your Honor.
Inside the box.
Inside the box. So for the record, Your Honor, Attorney Peña showed to the witness a sample folder of a folder which is among the 845 documents inside several folders inside 3 boxes.
Containing the 845 exhibits.
Yes, Your Honor.
Assisting counsel may show the witness a sample of the 845 acknowledgement receipts contained in a folder. So, Mr. Wamel, is this one of the 845 documents that you examined in relation to acknowledgement receipts pertaining to confidential funds allegedly spent for the period covering December 21 to December 31, 2022?
Yes, sir. Yes po, Your Honor.
You're a witness, counsel.
Okay. If I show you some, the defense. Could you please go over briefly the other folders? Your Honor, please, may we ask for a 3-minute recess for this?
For what purpose, counsel?
So you can go over the folders and so I can sit down.
Uli hong humiling ng 3-minute recess ang House Prosecution Panel, mga kabombo. Wala ho kay Senate or kay Trial Presiding Judge Francis Escudero na nag-grant na ni Senator Chis Escudero. Ito yung upang yung joke nga, yung biro nga ni Senator o ni Attorney Kapunan kanina para makaupo siya at para masuri ng kanyang testigo yung mga dokumento. Ang mga dokumentong ito ho yung sinasabing sinuri ho niya noong siya pa ay state auditor sa ilalim ng Commission on Audit. Siya ho ngayon ay Attorney 5 na kasi ng Commission on Audit promotion para ho sa testigo ng Commission or ng House Prosecution Panel. Medyo mahaba-haba na naman po ito, mga kaumbo. Marami-rami mga dokumento ang sinusuri ho ngayon na ng unang testigo ng House Prosecution Panel. Una pa lamang ho ito. Supposedly, 2 ho yung ipepresenta ngayon ng House Panel. Pero sa ngayon ay parang hindi ho yata mangyayari ito dahil nasa simula pa lamang ho tayo ng presentation ng House Panel. Ito ho'y direct examination pa lamang. No? And mag-aalas 2 na ho ng hapon, 1:40 officially na ho, ay 1:40, 1:40 na ho, 20 minuto na lamang bago mag-alas 2. And batay doon sa naunang panuntunan ng Senate Impeachment Court, mga alas 3 ng hapon, ay i-wrap up na at or tatapusin na yung trial day para pumasok ang Senate Impeachment Court sa kanilang session, mag-convene para ho sa kanilang session para pag-aralan yung ilang mga nakabinding mga panukalang batas or magsagawa ng committee hearing after ng kanilang plenaryo, mga kababoy. So, nasa initial stage pa lamang po ng direct examination sa pamagitan or pangungunan ni Attorney Lorna Kapunan. Wala pa pong cross-examination sa ngayon, and nagpahiwatig na kanina or nagpahayag na po ng kanilang pagnanais si Attorney Michael Pua na magtatanong sa cross-examination. Kasi kung babalikan po natin, wala nang cross sa nakalipas na araw kung hindi tayo nagkakamali. Wala na rin pong recross at wala rin pong redirect. Kasi sabi ni Attorney Pua noon, magiging petty lamang yung mga katanungan kung magsasagawa pa ng recross. Meron mang cross-examination pero hanggang 3 tanong lamang. Limited lamang yung naging tanong noon ni Attorney Michael Pua na siyang tumatayo para sa defense team. Kanina, naka-3 rinig ko tayo na sabi niya subject for cross-examination. So, yun yung ilan sa mga aabangan po natin dahil tiyak na itatanong yung mga puntong ito during the time na magsagawa na ang defense panel ng cross-examination sa testigo ngayon ng House Prosecution Panel. Okay, ang kapansin-pansin ho ngayon, mga kabombo, medyo natatagalan yung pag-usad ng trial dahil ho rito sa mga serye ng inspection sa ilang mga dokumento. Kung babalikan po natin yung paliwanag na Attorney Kapunan kanina, hindi ho namarkahan yung ilan sa mga dokumento kaya kailangan pong i-inspection, kailangan pong suriin, especially ng defense, para matiyak ho nila na akma nga ang naturang dokumento. Pero sabi naman ni Attorney Kapunan kanina, nauna nang nagpahayag ang House panel ng o nagbigay ng statement na mangyayari ito during the course of the trial or the proceedings. Kaya expect ho natin na mas marami pang mga ganito, kahalintulad na insidente, ang mangyayari sa mga susunod pang mga araw, mga kabombo. Okay, si Bombo 𝐤𝐞𝐚𝐜 may live report muli, live update mula dyan sa may Senate Impeachment Court sa nagpapatuloy pa rin po mga kabombo na pagsusuri, ginagawang pagsusuri ng defense team sa mga dokumento. Bombo 𝐤𝐞𝐚𝐜, kumusta dyan?
Bombo Genesis, bumaba na nga sa podium o sa kanyang kinauupuan itong si Presiding Officer Senator Judge Francis Escudero para obserbahan itong nagpapatuloy na pagsusuri nitong si witness na si dating Auditor Roderick Wilma sa 845 na acknowledgement receipt mula dito sa prosecution panel. Ito siguro ay Bombo Genesis para pakiusapan itong parehong panig ng prosecution at ng depensa na pabilisin itong pag-i-stipulate nga nitong mga documents upang mabilis din na umusad itong proseso ng pagdinig ngayong araw dahil nga dito Bombo Genesis ay tumatagal o bumabagal ang nagiging proseso ng pag-direct examination nitong si Attorney Lorna Kapunan dito sa unang witness mula sa Commission on Audit, Bombo Genesis. Ang kasalukuyan, Bombo Genesis, ay nakikipag-usap itong si Presiding Officer Senator Chis Escudero dito sa parehong panig ng prosecution at ng defense team. At abangan natin, Bombo Genesis, kung ito ba ay para pabilisin itong proseso dahil hindi nga pumapayag, Bombo Genesis, itong depensa na mag-stipulate o stipulate ang mga parehong dokumento o magkaparehong dokumento sa magkadalawang panig. Ang depensa dito ni Attorney Michael Pua ay maaari nilang questionin itong chain of custody nitong mga ebidensyang hawak ng prosecution. Though ang depensa naman dito ni Attorney Kapunan ay authenticated o certified true copy itong mga hawak nilang ebidensya mula mismo sa Commission on Audit, so wala dapat ditong questionin. Pero ayun nga, nagiging mahigpit itong defense panel pagdating dito sa stipulation ng mga evidence dahil daw sa mga discrepancies o hindi pagkakapareho ng ilang impormasyon na nilalaman ng dokumento. Bombo Genesis.
Parang matatagalan muli ito, Bombo 𝐤𝐞𝐚𝐜. Ang hiniling ni Attorney Kapunan kanina, 3-minute recess para masuri nitong testigo si Wamil yung kanyang mga notes at para siya'y makaupo. Pero hindi na lang 3 minutes ito, mga 5 minutes mahigit na yung ginugugol para doon sa pagsusuri. Bombo Jello.
Ko lang, Bobo Genesis, itong kasalukuyang sinusuri ngayon nitong witness na si dating auditor Roderick Quamil ng Commission on Audit, Bombo Genesis, ay iyong mga dokumento ng acknowledgement receipt na hawak ng prosekusyon upang ito'y kanyang mafamiliarize sa direct examination nitong ni Attorney Capudan, Bombo Genesis. Itong kanyang notes, Bombo Genesis, ay nasuri na ito kanina ng defense team at ipinakita na ito ng testigo at sinabi nga ni Attorney Michael Powa sa kanyang obserbasyon ay hindi na daw ito pinirma, wala daw pirma mula sa testigo at ipinaliwanag naman ng testigo, Bombo Genesis, na sapagkat ito ay personal notes kaya hindi niya pinirmahan. Daw ito ay sinabi naman ni Attorney Capunan na ilalagay na nila bilang exhibits o parte ng ebidensya matapos nga ipaliwanag niya na meron namang reservation ang prosecution panel pagdating dito sa presentation of mga evidence, Bombo Genesis. Though tama ka dyan, Bombo Genesis, 3 minutes lang ang hiningi ni Attorney Capunan para sa pagsusuri nitong witness at dahil daw para makaupo na rin siya, pero ngayon ay halos lumagpas na tayo dyan sa 3 minutes, parang deja vu lang ng kanina, Bombo Genesis. 5 minutong break lang ang hiningi pero halos umabot ng 1 oras at ayun nga ang balikan ko yung babahagi ko kanina na bumaba na sa kanyang upuan itong si Presiding Officer Escudero para makipag-usap dito sa parehong panig ng prosekusyon at ng depensa dahil nga dito sa nagpapatuloy na pag-iinspeksyon nitong mga dokumento na siyang sanhi ng pagbagal o pagtagal ng proseso ng pagdinig ngayong araw, Bombo Genesis.
Etong mga dokumentong ito, nakita natin kanina, Bombo Jello, na hawak-hawak ng House panel nung pumasok sila. Maraming box ito, no? Blue boxes na kinalalagyan ng mga confidential, dokumento about doon sa confidential funds, si Vice President Sara.
15 blue boxes ito, Bombo Genesis, ang hawak na ebidensya nitong House Prosecution Panel na ipinasok ngayon dito sa Senado para ipresenta nga dito sa nagpapatuloy na pagdinig. At mantakin mo, Bombo Genesis, nasa unang 3 box pa lang tayo kasi 845 acknowledgement receipt ang laman ng 3 box na iyan at mayroon pang 12 hindi nabubuksan. Kaya expect na natin talaga, Bombo Genesis, na itong linggong ito ay matagal-tagal at hindi pa natin sigurado kung matatapos agad itong 2 witness sa loob lamang ng 3 araw na pagdinig, Bombo Genesis, knowing na limited time lang o 5 hours per day lang ang igugugol ng impeachment court dito sa nagpapatuloy na impeachment trial ni Vice President Sara Duterte, Bombo Genesis.
Mapapansin natin dito na parang nakipag-usap yata ang House Prosecution members sa kanilang counterparts sa defense, Bombo Jello. Real time itong sa mga listeners, mga viewers natin, real time itong video na pinapakita ho natin sa inyo. Sina Representative Adjong, sina Representative Zamora ng Las Piñas and other members ng House Prosecution Panel, Representative Chua, isa sa mga miyembro ng House panel. Habang nakatutok din ay believe si Attorney Season yata ito na katutok doon sa pagre-review nitong si Attorney Wamil doon sa mga yung nababanggit mo kanina, mga dokumentong hawak ng House Prosecution Panel, Bombo Jello.
Tama ka dyan, Bombo Genesis. Siguro ay pinakikiusapan na nila itong panig ng depensa na pumayag na dito nga sa stipulations of the same document or evidence para nga mapabilis ang pag-usad nitong isinasagawang pagdinig ngayong, Bombo Genesis. Pero as stand nga kanina ni Attorney Michael Powa ay kailangan nilang magigpit dito sapagkat sa mga discrepancies na kanilang nakikita sa dokumento na hawak ng prosekusyon at sa kanilang dokumento. Balik na, Bombo Genesis, ang session ngayon. Tuloy na muli ang trial.
Okay, pakinggan po at panoorin natin.
The examination of the documents took more than 3 minutes. Just to attest that these documents are voluminous. And in connection therewith, Your Honor, since counsel has not agreed to a stipulation of all 845 documents, we call to rescue Section 130 of Rule 130, Section 3, Your Honor, C. And for the record, If we may be allowed to read, Your Honor. This rule on documentary evidence is the exception to the original document rule, which requires that all documents must be presented. But in this particular section, Rule 130, Section 3C, it says, Your Honors, that when the original consists of numerous accounts, and that is what we are seeing today, and other documents which cannot be examined in court without great loss of time, and the facts sought to be established from them is only the general result of the same. I think, Your Honor, this is applicable, especially if we likewise see Section 7, which is summaries of the same rule, Your Honor. In Section 7, entitled Summaries, when the contents of documents, records, photographs, or numerous accounts are voluminous, as can be seen, 3 boxes and several folders, and the fact sought to be established is only the general result of the whole, the contents of such evidence may be presented in the form of a chart, a summary, or calculation. Your Honor, please, I think under this Rule 130, Section 3C, in conjunction with Section 7 relating to voluminous records and summaries, Your Honor, we will be, as we had earlier, marked a tabulation, which is the summary of all 845 acknowledgement receipts, Your Honor, all of which are intended to just prove one thing, Your Honor. To prove that certain amounts are covered by acknowledgement receipts which were submitted by way of liquidation for confidential funds, and the purpose for which they were spent or discharged or withdrawn are not in compliance with Joint Circular 2015, Your Honor. That is the result intended from this 845 documents, which we will no longer individually present. In lieu thereof, Your Honor, pursuant to Section 3C in conjunction with Section 7 of Rule 130, we will just be presenting the tabulation, Your Honor, marked as Exhibit P-1-29 and series, Your Honor, and reserve the right to just highlight certain select acknowledgement receipts, which we will ask this witness to testify to as to the contents thereof, Your Honor.
Comment from counsel for respondents?
We have no objection to the applicability of the rule invoked, Your Honor, by the distinguished opposing counsel without prejudice to our right to test the accuracy of the table at the proper time.
And to individually question its authenticity during cross or
Yes.
during its presentation, and to be given copies as well, should you so desire.
Correct, subject to cross, Your Honor.
Counsel may proceed in accordance with Rule 130, Section 3C in relation to Section 7, in relation to, given that the documents are indeed voluminous, and for the information of the senator judges, this does not in any way detract from the fact that the documents, the acknowledgement receipts do exist, only that they are too voluminous. Therefore, the witness will be testifying based on his summary of these documents instead of individually. Counsel for the panel of prosecutors may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor, for the ruling. Now, I will show you select few of these acknowledgement receipts. And for better appreciation of the Honorable Impeachment Court, we will be flashing some select few. Exhibit P-1-8-184. Showing to you, Mr. Witness, this exhibit. It is an acknowledgement receipt in the name of Mary Grace Piatos for the amount of 70,000 pesos. Please peruse this document and tell us if this is among the acknowledgement receipts that you said you received and evaluated based on the submissions of the Office of the Vice President?
This AR po is among the acknowledgement receipts submitted by the OVP to 𝐒𝐵𝐢.
Before we go to this particular exhibit, in the name of Mary Grace Piatos for 70,000 pesos, tell us, Mr. Witness, ano ba talagang ibig sabihin ng acknowledgement receipt?
Well, kapag sinabing acknowledgement, actually wala siyang provision dun sa joint circular, pero ito kasi ay parang proof of na-receive noong payee yung binayad sa kanya.
So, acknowledgement receipt, as the name suggests, acknowledges na na-receive.
Na-receive niya yung payment from the payor po.
So, ina-acknowledge ng isang Mary Grace Piatos na tumanggap siya ng magkano?
Based from this acknowledgement receipt po, tumanggap po si Mary Grace Piatos ng 70,000 pesos for the payment of rewards, close and open parenthesis, medicines.
Ano, bakit dalawa to? Payment of rewards tsaka medicines. Anong ibig sabihin? Ang binayad sa kanya na reward ay gamot?
Hindi ko po ma-determine based on this document alone po, kaya po kami nagpapasubmit ng additional documents. And also, since it is payment of rewards po, hindi rin po enough lang na acknowledgement receipts. Kailangan din pong makomply yung provision noong joint circular as to the payment of rewards.
Okay. So, itong Mary Grace Piatos acknowledgement receipt ay sinasabi mo na violation ito ng joint circular. Bakit?
Dahil hindi po ito properly supported by document evidencing success po, which is required under 4.8.5 of the Joint Circular 2015-01.
Okay. Incidentally, Mr. Witness, pag merong pangalang Mary Grace Piatos, kayo ba ay nag-i-investigate o kasama ba ng post-audit nyo ang mag-ascertain sino ba itong Mary Grace Piatos?
Since what we do po is compliance audit, so ang naging basehan lang po namin ng audit ay kung ano yung nakalagay or piniprescribe ng Joint Circular 2015-01. Pero dun sa Joint Circular naman po kasi, hindi naman nakalagay doon na kailangan tingnan namin yung recipient ng payment.
Okay. I will show you another document. Mark for the prosecution, Attorney Peña, P-1-8-619. Another Piatos, name Rene Piatos. Pakibasa. The amount is 100.
Counsel is Renan Piatos.
Renan Piatos. Renan Piatos. Ang amount 110,000 pesos. At ang date ay 12/27/2023. Being flashed on the screen for better appreciation of the Honorable Impeachment Court. What observation can you make or have you made as regards this acknowledgement receipt?
Based on this acknowledgement receipt po, binayad po siya noong December 27, 2023, which is 1 year po after nung supposedly coverage nung kanilang cash advance for confidential fund.
Kailan ba binigay ulit itong cash advance?
December 27, 2023 po, based on this document.
Pero what actually is the correct date, if you know?
I cannot determine po the correct date based on this document, pero dapat po kasi ipasok siya doon sa coverage nung kanilang cash advance based on the document submitted to 𝐒𝐵𝐢.
So hindi ito pasok?
Yes, ma'am. Based on this document, yung period of payment, yung date of payment po ay hindi pasok doon sa coverage nung kanilang cash advance.
Anong tawag doon? Yung hindi pasok? Discrepancy?
Hindi po siya discrepancy. Hindi lang talaga siya pasok. Parang the payment was made outside the coverage noong
With the
cash
permission
advance.
of counsel, December 21 to December 31, 2022 yung covered period ng disbursement
Yes.
ng confidential fund, Mr. Romel, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So when you say hindi pasok dun sa period na yon ng
Yes
December
po, Your
21 to 31, 2022.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Dahil 2023 nakalagay na taon, supposedly. Tama?
Yes po, Your Honor.
Okay.
You may proceed, Counsel.
12 months na hindi pasok. 2023. Exhibit P-1-8-4113 413 in the name of Nova Santos for the amount of 85,000 pesos. Anong observation mo dito sa acknowledgement receipt na ito, if any?
Since it is payment of rewards po, enclosing of in parentheses, various goods, dapat ay supported po ito ng document of success as prescribed under item 4.8.5 of the Joint Circular 2015-01.
Ano bang kinoconsider ng 𝐶OA-𝐈𝐦𝐻 na document of success?
Actually, walang specific na document as prescribed under the Joint Circular. Pero kapag may sinabit po kasi sa amin, chine-check namin if the requirement of the Joint Circular is met. So tinitingnan po namin yung relationship between the successful information gathering or surveillance activities vis-a-vis yung information given by the informer.
I'll show you now. P-1-8-531 in the name of Miko P. Harina for 295,000 pesos. Again, ang nakalagay dito, hindi pasok. 12/31/2023.
Leading, Your Honor. Objection.
Okay, I will reform.
Kindly reform,
What
Counsel.
can you say, what can you observe about the date indicated there, if any?
The date po indicated in this document is December 31, 2023 as the date po nung receipt of payment by the
And what
payee.
significance can you draw, if any, from this date?
It is outside po dun sa period po nung kanilang disbursement which is December 21 to 31, 2022.
And the purpose? Ano yung purpose na naka-indicate dyan?
Ang nakalagay po ay payment of purchase supplies.
Okay. Itong purchase supplies na ito, 295,000 worth of purchase of supplies. What documents, if any, were submitted
Ang sinamit
to
po nila,
indicate ano ang mga supplies worth 295,000 na binili nung 1 year after, 12/21/2023. Meron bang dokumentong sinubmit? At kung meron, ano yun?
wala po silang document na sinabmit. Ito lang pong acknowledgement receipt.
P-1-8-643 in the name of Janice Marie Revilla. Na-investigate mo ba kung kamag-anak to ni Senator Bong Revilla? Mr. Witness? Mr. Witness?
That is beyond na po our scope of audit.
Okay. And the amount is 70,000 pesos. Again, for purchase of information dated 12/28/2022. Any observation on this acknowledgement receipt?
Wala naman po akong nakitang observation dito sa acknowledgement receipt na ito. Since yung purchase of information is among those allowable expenses naman po under the Joint Circular 2015-01.
Patiting. P-1-8567 for 150,000 pesos. 12/23/2022. Parang hindi katiting ito. Patiting. For purchase of information. Ang observation mo? Any observation?
Since ang allowed naman po ang purchase of information under 4.8 8 of the joint circular, wala naman po akong nakitang observation with respect to this acknowledgement receipt.
P-1-8-545 in the name of Odi or Andy C. Lim for 50,000 pesos. Andilim. Kanya ko pala hindi mabasa. Andilim. Para kay Andilim. 50,000 pesos. Ang date, 12/21/2023. Ano ang observation mo ulit? Kung meron man.
Yung date of payment po, December 27, 2023, is outside the coverage po nung kanilang period of disbursement, which is December 21 to 31, 2022.
Kung merong andilim, siguro dahil
Objection,
pikit.
Your Honor. I'm sorry, but I've been giving leeway to opposing counsel, but I think she's been coloring, the contents of the documents more than what is shown
Your
in the
Honor, I'm
document
just reading. It
itself.
says here. And
No, Your
counsel
Honor.
can refer. It says andilim.
I think you
It's
know
the
my
way it
point,
sounds,
Your
Your
Honor.
Honor. It's like patiting. That's the way it's spelled. And the next one, maybe you will object again. It's Alejandro A. Pikit. I was gonna say, kanya siguro madali. May pikit ang mata. Pikit.
Exactly, Your Honor, our point, Your Honor.
Pikit.
Counsel for the panel of prosecutors, I think you know what the counsel for the respondent is talking about.
Yes.
Kindly proceed accordingly.
Okay, Alejandro A. Pikit, P-18-544 for 90,000 pesos. And the date here, again, is 12/21/2023. Purchase of information. Any observation, Mr. Witness?
Yung date of payment po na December 21, 2023 based on this document is outside po doon sa kanilang period of disbursement.
Okay. P-1-8-556 being shown to you and flashed on the screen is for Fiona Byong for 80,000 pesos. 12/22/2022 also for payment of information. Any comment, Mr. Witness?
Wala naman po akong particular observation on this AR kasi yung purchase of information is allowed naman po under 4.8 of the joint circular.
And the last two, also for payment of information, P-1-8-654 for Cisfronio Balsac for 70,000 pesos. And P-1-8-615 for Gabriel S. Bisaya for 70,000 pesos. 12/27/2022. Any observations, Mr. Witness?
Yung date of payment po ng December 27, 2023, which is outside the coverage po nung kanilang period of disbursement.
Now, having shown you selected few of these 845 acknowledgement receipts, can you confirm now that the ones shown to you and those that are part of your summary stated in your tabulation are the documents submitted to you by the Office of the Vice President by way of liquidation of monies allegedly paid to alleged payees and for alleged purposes?
Yes po, ma'am.
I will go now to the Office of the Vice President. What happened next, if any?
From what period po yung tinatanong niyo, ma'am? From the date of
After you received the response of the Office of the Vice President, what action did you take, if any?
I evaluated po the response, the explanation contained in the response as well as the documents po attached in the response, and nag-issue po kami ng notice of suspension dahil hindi pa rin po compliant yung kanilang submission sa 𝐒𝐵𝐢.
Again, can you remind us what a notice of suspension is?
Based on the Joint Circular 2015-01, notice of suspension is a written notification to the head of the agency and the agency accountant, informing them of the temporary disallowance in audit of the disbursement because it appears that the disbursement is illegal, irregular, or improper, and that they are required to submit an explanation or justification or the documents being sought in the notice of suspension or both po.
If a notice of suspension is shown to you, P-1-13-A, which is a common exhibit with the defense, would you be able to identify the same?
Yes, ma'am.
And for better appreciation of the Honorable Impeachment Court, we will
Assisting
be
counsel of
flashing the
both
same
parties
on
may
the
approach.
screen.
You may proceed, counsel.
In your notice of suspension, which you said you issued, and which is a common exhibit, what were your recommendations thereat?
In this notice of suspension po, katulad po nung in-explain ko kanina, may mga payment of rewards silang ginawa in cash, in medicine, and in various goods, pero hindi po properly supported with any document evidencing success as prescribed po in item 4.8.5 of the Joint Circular. That is observation number 1 po.
We are flashing on the screen, and for easy reference, this has been boxed, Your Honor. What else?
Also, in the NS po, yun, katulad din nung sinabi ko kanina, meron silang mga purchases na ginawa, which is yung purchases of medicine, which were given as rewards. Yung purchases of various goods, which were given as rewards. Yung purchase supplies, yung tables and tables and chairs, at yung desktop printers and computers ay supported lamang ng acknowledgement receipts instead of sales invoices or official receipts. And also with respect to the purchased tables and chairs and desktop printers and computers, hindi po nila in-indicate if these purchases were intended for the confidential operations of the Office of the Vice President.
What else is here in your notice of suspension?
Third po, yung ibang acknowledgement receipts po, yung receipts of payment ay naka-December 2023 at yung ibang acknowledgement receipts ay wala pong date kung kailan ni-receive ni payee yung payment po.
No. If these acknowledgement receipts, there are certain acknowledgement receipts dated 2023, if shown to you, would you be able to identify the same?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing to you now. Acknowledgement receipts dated December 20, 2023, beyond the period beyond the covered period of the last quarter of 2022. Please go over these documents.
Assisting counsel may show the witness the documents.
Prosecution panel, mga kabombo. Sinusuri ho muli ng
Your Honor, please, this notice of suspension, as I mentioned earlier,
sinusuri
is a
ho muli
common
ng
exhibit, Your Honor, and I will
testigo ng House panel ito mga acknowledgement receipt na daladala ng House panel bilang kanilang ebidensya. Ang acknowledgement receipt na ito ay nagpapakita na tinanggap ng isang recipient o na isang individual yung confidential fund or yung isang pondo, no, na galing po sa opisina ni Pangalawang Pangulo, Vice President Sara Duterte. Balik ko tayo.
What is the total, Mr. Witness, based on your Annex A of your notice of suspension of the total amount for acknowledgement receipts issued for a period not covered by the confidential funds?
Can you clarify po yung question? Yung mga dated December 2023 po ba yun?
Yes, Mr. Witness.
Based on this annex po, yung total ng mga acknowledgement receipts na dated December 2023 ay 25,606,000 pesos.
For 2023, 25,606,000. What about confidential funds liquidated based on undated acknowledgement receipts na walang date? Undated.
Based po on
Is that also shown in your Annex A?
Yes po, ma'am.
Can you tell this court how much that amount is for undated acknowledgement receipts na walang petsa?
Ang total amount po ay 3,276,000 pesos po.
Okay. And pag tinotal natin ito, magkano lahat ito ang nakalagay sa notice of suspension mo?
Yung undated tsaka December
Yes, Mr.
20.
Witness.
Bali, ang magiging total po ay almost 29 million pesos po.
The notice of suspension, what other findings are stated thereon?
Sa notice of suspension po, may findings din po about some expenses po na piniresent doon sa kanilang acknowledgement receipts na hindi presented doon sa kanilang accomplishment report.
What else, Mr. Witness?
Number 5 po dun sa notice of suspension, katulad po nung sinabi ko kanina, yung total expenses nila based on the acknowledgement receipts ay umabot ng 125,150,000, which is 150,000 in excess po doon sa kanilang total expenses based on the accomplishment report na 125 million pesos.
Let me try to understand this. Nag-issue ng ang total is sobra. Nag-liquidate, pero ang liquidate nila ay sobra sa amount na 150 million.
Ang ginastos po nila
100
based on the acknowledgement
125.
receipts ay sobra po compared dun sa laman ng kanilang accomplishment report.
May
May
discrepancy.
discrepancy po na 150,000 pesos.
What happened? May notice of suspension. What happened after you issued this notice of suspension? If any?
After po ma-issue yung notice of suspension ay wala na po akong personal knowledge since nag-transfer na po ako to other audit sector po of the Commission on Audit.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. We have just finished the liquidation of the last quarter of 2022. We are mindful, Your Honor, of the request of the presiding judge to end at 2:30. Would you like us to continue? There are 3 more quarters for the Office of the Vice President and the Department of Education. We can start for 10 more minutes or we can end here. Mr.
Let's end at 2:30, Council. Let's try
Yes,
to
okay.
use up the time. You can proceed with the first quarter of the OVP. All of these documents are admitted and stipulated to by the Council for Respondent anyway.
Yes, Your Honor. Now, Mr. Witness, let's now go to the first court, let us now go to the first quarter. Mr. Witness, you mentioned earlier that aside from the fourth quarter of 2022, you also audited the OVP's liquidation of confidential funds for the first 3 quarters of 2023. You confirm that, Mr. Witness?
Yes po, I confirm po.
If I show you the OVP's, the Office of the Vice President's response, dated November 30, 2023, a stipulated document, and for prosecution marked as Exhibit P-1-12-D, dated November 30, 2023. And we are showing it on the screen, Your Honors, for better appreciation by the impeachment court. What, Mr. Witness, were, if any, were the liquidation documents submitted by the Office of the Vice President as regards the confidential funds received for first quarter and the second quarter of 2023?
Counsel, just to point it out, I believe that the November 30 response pertains to the last quarter of 2022, not the first quarter of 2023.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you for pointing it out, Your Honor. For the first quarter of 2023, what documents were submitted by the Office of the Vice President by way of liquidation of the confidential funds for this period?
The documents po submitted by the Office of the Vice President for the first and second quarter of 2023 include yung kanilang liquidation report, yung disbursement voucher, yung cheque, yung obligation request, their physical and financial plan for calendar year 2023, yung kanilang quarterly accomplishment reports, and yung proof of submission po nun dun sa Office of the President, the Senate President, and the Speaker of the House, yung certification po nung accountable officer on the utilization of the confidential fund, yung designation po nung kanilang special disbursing officer, yung specimen signatures nung signatories nung documents, at yung fidelity bond po nung kanilang accountable officers.
And Mr. Witness, if these documents are shown to you, would you be able to identify the same? Again, Your Honor, the documents mentioned by the witness are stipulated documents
Councilman reports.
marked both by the prosecution and defense. Showing to you, Mr. Witness, liquidation documents for the period covering February 6 to March 29, 2023. For another period, April 25. Okay. Among the documents being shown to you is a physical and financial plan issued by the Office of the Vice President for calendar year 2023, being flashed on the screen. Specifically, a physical and financial plan dated January 20, 2023, marked as Exhibit P-14-A-1, Common Exhibit with the respondent, defense. On the lower right side of this document, there appears a signature below the words, approved by. Whose signature is this, Mr. Witness?
This is the signature po of the Vice President Sara Duterte.
And again, tell us why you know this signature. Tell us.
Because the OBP po submitted specimen signatures of the signatories po, and one of the specimen signatures submitted is that of the Vice President, and her signature po on the specimen signature submitted is the same with her signature po on this document.
And in this very same document, there is a phrase, quote unquote, approved by. What does this mean?
Ang ibig sabihin po noon ay inapprove po ni Vice Presidente yung contents ng physical and financial plan na sinubmit sa 𝐒𝐫𝐲.
Please take a look at these documents and tell us what significant observations have you made.
If any.
Based on this document po, hindi po naka-integrate dun sa column A yung specific confidential activities as required po under 4.2 of the Joint Circular 2015-01.
Why is this necessary?
It is necessary po since under item 4.2 po of the Joint Circular, it shall be the basis po ng disbursements ng kanilang confidential fund.
What else did you observe, Mr. Witness?
Since yung hindi po naka-enumerate yung kanilang specific confidential activities, yung columns for the expected outcome at yung column for the physical target ay hindi rin po kompleto since hindi po nakamatch yun doon sa kanilang specific confidential activities.
For the record, because it's not quite clear, could you read for the record what is there stated in the third column?
In the third column po, physical target. Letter A, number of identified areas with surveillance conducted and monitored, and letter B, percentage of activities implemented without untoward security-related incidents.
Okay. You mentioned number of areas. What specific number was indicated there?
Ang wala pong naka-indicate dito, ma'am.
There is no indication as to areas. What about where? Specifically, province, city, were these surveillances conducted?
Wala pong naka-indicate dito based on this document po.
And why is that necessary, Mr. Witness?
Actually, it is a plan, since it is a physical and financial plan, so ito po talaga yung basis nila for their disbursement.
Okay. What else is indicated there?
What can you repeat your question po?
Ano pa nakalagay dyan sa third column na binabasa natin kanina?
Yung dalawa lang po, yung A and B.
Okay.
Number of identified areas and yung percentage of activities implemented.
And Mr. Witness, any other observation that you have made?
Katulad po nung sinabi ko kanina, dapat ay nakamatch yan dun sa kanilang specific confidential activities. Pero since hindi po naka-enumerate yung kanilang specific confidential activities, so hindi rin po kompleto yung information dun sa kanilang physical target.
Ano naman, based on this, ano naman ang provision, applicable provision ng joint circular?
That is
Ang
yung
applicable dito.
Yung item 4.2 po of the Joint Circular.
Ano ang 4.2 natin ulit?
It provides there po that all allocations for confidential fund must be supported with a physical and financial plan which shall indicate the proposed amount for each project, programs, and activities where the disbursements from the confidential fund shall be based.
Okay. We now go to the last set of documents, which are also stipulated documents. Three more documents. I am showing to you three checks, specifically land bank checks. A land bank check 002444053 dated January 31, 2023, previously marked as Prosecution's Exhibit P-1-11-B. Again, this is a stipulated document. What, if any, is the significance of this land bank check being flashed on the screen for easy reference?
Ito pong land bank checks, ito yung proof na pwede na nilang i-withdraw yung kanilang cash advance.
At magkano ang land bank check na yan?
Based on this land bank checks po, ang amount po ay 125 million pesos per quarter from the first to third quarter of 2023.
Another check, land bank check number 002-45511 dated April 18, 2023, marked as Exhibit P-1-11-C, another stipulated document. What is the significance of this check? Being shown to you, Mr. Witness, and being flashed on the screen for easy reference of the impeachment court.
Ang significance po nito ay pwede na nilang i-withdraw. It is a proof that pwede na nilang i-withdraw yung amount of the cash advance.
And Mr. Witness, these three checks, and there is one last more.
One more check, Counsel.
One more check. Land Bank check number 000245664 dated July 13, 2023, marked as prosecution exhibit P-1-11-D, also a stipulated common exhibit. Please take a look at this check. Tell us the significance of this check, if any.
The significance of this check po is it is a proof po na pwede na nilang i-withdraw yung kanilang cash advance for this quarter.
And this check submitted to your office, to the 𝐒𝐻𝐫𝐢𝐚,
Yes, ma'am.
are the very same checks that you identified this afternoon.
Yes, ma'am.
With the indulgence of counsel, you want to wrap up there and continue your direct tomorrow?
Yes, Your Honor.
The witness is excused. Mr. Wamil, kindly be here again tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the continuation of your testimony. You will be testifying under the same oath. Now, for some administrative matters, pursuant to the July 20, 2026 ruling of the presiding officer, the BIR, Bureau of Internal Revenue, the Anti-Money Laundering Council, BDO Unibank, Philippine Savings Bank, PS Bank, Metropolitan Bank and Trust Company, Security Bank, Land Bank of the Philippines, and the Bank of the Philippine Islands, through their representatives, submitted the subpoena documents to the Office of the Clerk of Court on July 30, 2026. During their submission, however, BDO Unibank and Security Bank manifested their request for an additional period of 10 days. 10 banking days rather, or until August 13 to submit documents which they were not able to submit on time. BDO requested for additional time to retrieve, compile, produce, and submit item number 3 in the subpoena, namely all account transactions, records, ledgers, journals, etc., and transaction logs. Meanwhile, Security Bank manifested that due to the volume, it was unable to complete the printing of documents pertaining to 2 of the 20 entities, namely 𝐃𝐮𝐭 Industries and 𝐾𝐮88 Foods Corporation. In view of the foregoing, the court resolves to note and grant the request of BDO for an additional 10 days, 10 banking days rather, or until August 13 to submit the additional documents required by the subpoena duces tecum. Likewise, BDO is directed to submit 4 additional USB flash drives containing the electronic copies of the subpoena documents which were submitted on July 30. The same ruling applies for the other banks and government agencies and offices. The court also notes and grants the request of Security Bank for an additional 10 working days from July 30 or until August 13 to submit to the clerk of court the 3 certified true copies and 5 USB flash drives containing the complete electronic copies of the bank records pertaining to 𝐃𝐮𝐭 Industries Incorporated and 𝐾𝐮 Foods 88. For the information of the senator judges, the clerk of court received the submission coming from the BIR after the BIR commissioner submitted a presidential authorization providing for the release of the documents from the BIR as required by Section 71 in relation to Section 270 of the National Internal Revenue Code, in compliance again with the court's directive prior to receiving its submission. For the information of the senator judges and then for the information of the parties, copies shall be given, if at all, to the parties after the submissions shall have been completed, where the parties will be given equal opportunity to review the documents, photocopy the same, and study the same, since this is still the last article we will be taking up. So ordered. If there are no other business to be taken up, we will adjourn the trial, and for the information of the senator judges, session shall be convened at 3 p.m. in the afternoon upon advice of the Senate President, Senate President 𝐓𝐫𝐢𝐚𝐥. Trial is adjourned until tomorrow, August 4 at 10 a.m.
Mga kabombo, dito na po nagtatapos ang ika-11 trial day para sa impeachment trial laban kay Vice President Sara Duterte. Hindi na ho tinapos ng House Prosecution Panel, or rather, hindi na ho pinatapos ni trial presiding judge Senator 𝐾𝐮𝐭 ang House Prosecution Panel doon sa kanilang kabuang presentation sana kay Attorney Roderick Uwamil. Siya ho ay dating audit officer ng Commission on Audit. Siya ngayon ay Attorney 5 ng Commission Audit. Dahil nga rito sa restriction sa time. So, ilang minuto lamang po ang lumagpas doon sa 2:30 na target na ibinigay para ho sa House Prosecution Panel. And after that ay pinatapos na ni Senator 𝐾𝐮𝐭 si Attorney Lorna Kapunan doon sa kanyang presentation. Babalik ko muli bukas si dating State Auditor Roderick Uwamil, ang unang testigo ho ng House Prosecution Panel para ho rito, mga kabombo, mula po sa Commission on Audit. Supposedly dalawa pong auditor ang makikita, matutunghayan po natin ngayon, pero hindi na ho naipasok yung pangalawa pa, at tanging itong si Uwamil na lamang ang nakapasok or naipresenta ng House Prosecution Panel. Dati po siyang or siya po yung nasa ilalim ho ng Intelligence and Confidential Funds Audit ng Commission on Audit. May 3 quarter pa, 3 mga audit result ang ipapakita ho ng House Panel sa pamamagitan nitong si Uwamil. 3 quarter pa ho rito ang ipapakita. So medyo mahaba-haba po ito. Bukas, mga kabombo, ay muli pong mag-a-appear. 10:00 ho ng umaga itong si Uwamil, Attorney Uwamil. At inaasahang hanggang 3 quarter pa audit result ng 3 quarter sa ilalim ng Office of the Vice President at ng Department of Education ang kailangan pong ipresenta ng House Panel. Kaya baka abot na po ito ng Miyerkules before matapos yung pagtayo nitong si Uwamil, Attorney Uwamil, sa witness stand. Maki-update po tayo dyan sa may bahagi po ng Senate Impeachment Court. Wrap up, Bombo 𝐤𝐞𝐚.
Bombo Genesis, nag-adjourn na nga itong ika-11 impeachment trial ni Vice President Sara Duterte, at hindi natapos itong direct examination ni Attorney Lorna Kapunan dito sa ating first witness ngayong linggo na si Attorney Roderick Uwamil. Bombo Genesis, at medyo tama ka nga doon, matagal-tagal pa itong itatakbo ng pagdinig sa usapin dito sa misuse of confidential funds o di umano'y misuse of confidential funds ng Office of the Vice President, dahil ang nabigyang tinalakay pa lamang dito, Bombo Genesis, ay itong ang 4th quarter nitong 2022, kung saan naggastos itong 125 million pesos ng Office of the Vice President sa loob lamang ng 11 days, Bombo Genesis. Kanina, Bombo Genesis, sa huling bahagi na pag-usapan itong ang detalye kung paano nagastos itong 125 million pesos sa loob lamang ng 11 araw. Ngunit may mga discrepancies na nakita dito ang Commission on Audit, katulad na lamang, Bombo Genesis, nitong mga acknowledgement receipt na lagpas sa date of disbursement ng OVP na example dito, Bombo Genesis, ay ang pagbili ng impormasyon sa nagngangalang si Andy Lim na pabiro pa kaninang binabanggit ni Attorney Kapunan na may petsang December 2023, pero sa isinumitingang dokumento nitong accomplishment report nitong OVP para dito sa 125 million ay naubos lamang ito sa loob ng December 21 hanggang December 31, 2022. So isa ito, Bombo Genesis, sa mga nakitang discrepancies, yung mga petsa ng paggamit nitong pera at ang petsa ng isinumiting accomplishment report nitong Office of the Vice President. Binanggit din kanina nitong si Attorney Wamil na merong mga payments check na hindi sila nagsumite o walang supporting documents, katulad na lamang nitong 34 million para sa payments for rewards, itong 24 millions para naman sa payments for rewards for medicines, Bombo Genesis, 11 millions para sa mga purchase supplies, 500,000 sa pagbili ng mga lamesa at upuan, at itong 3 million para sa mga desktop computer, Bombo Genesis. So ito yung mga details na tinalakay kanina, Bombo Genesis, na sinasabi nitong si Attorney Wamil na hindi compliant itong Office of the Vice President pagdating sa mga payments checks na kanilang ipinapasa, kaya nakitaan nila ng discrepancies itong paggasta ng Office of the Vice President dito sa 125 million pesos na confidential fund sa loob lamang ng 11 araw, Bombo Genesis. At magpapatuloy naman ang sesyon bukas alas 10 ng umaga hanggang alas 3 naman ng hapon, kung saan itutuloy nitong si Attorney Kapunan ang kanyang direct examination dito kay Attorney Roderick Wamil. At yun nga, Bombo Genesis, asahan natin na magiging matagal pa rin ito kasi marami pang quarter. Office of the Vice President confidential funds pa lang itong natalakay ngayong araw, at meron pang Department of Education confidential funds naman, Bombo Genesis.
Other than kay Wamil, yung isa pang taga-kuwa, Bombo Jello, nandyan din kanina, hindi lang naipresenta pero nandyan din ba?
Dahil nakalagay yan sa kanilang subpoena, Bombo Genesis, na kailangan nilang dumalo simula ngayong Lunes hanggang sa Miyerkules ngayong Linggo para masiguro na rin na present itong mga witness natin sakaling matapos na rin yung una. Yan na rin yung matatandaan natin, Bombo Genesis, na pinopose ni Senator Judge Fan Piluping Lacson na dapat panatilihing laging nakahanda itong mga witnesses dito sa loob ng Senado para maging tuloy-tuloy o dire-diretso itong proseso ng pagdinig at wala nang inaantay pa para hindi na rin maantala, Bombo Genesis.
Oo. Doon sa nababanggit ni Senator Chis Escudero kanina, Bombo Jello, muli babalik si Attorney Wamil bukas at 10 a.m. pero wala pang kasiguraduhan na matatapos siya bukas, kasi may 3 quarter pa yung ipepresenta ng House panel, Bombo Jello?
Tama ka dyan, Bombo Genesis. Walang kasiguraduhan kung matatapos ito agad si Attorney Roderick Wamil, kasi ito nga, Bombo Genesis, maraming quarter na ginamit ito kasi kung maaalala natin, Bombo Genesis, kabuang 500 million peso itong confidential funds ng Office of the Vice President, at itong natalakay pa lang ngayong araw ay ang quarter ng fourth quarter nitong 2002, Bombo Genesis. So wala pa dito yung tatlong magkakaibang quarter, So kung inabot ngayon ng halos 4.5 oras ang pagtatalakay sa isang quarter pa lamang ng direct examination ng prosecution, so aasahan din natin na magiging matagal nito bukas kasi, Bombo Genesis, pagkatapos nito may cross examination pa na gagawin yung depensa, kaya walang kasiguraduhan na matatapos bukas itong si Attorney Wamil at makakasalang na ang pangalawang testigo, at ang ano pa dyan, Bombo Genesis, ay baka hindi matapos ngayong linggo. Depende yan sa magiging diskarte nitong prosecution sa kanilang direct examination. Pero nakikita naman natin na hinihimay-himay nitong si Attorney Kapunan ang pagtatanong sa paggasta nitong confidential funds ng Office of the Vice President, kaya nagiging matagal itong proseso ng pagdinig, Bombo Genesis.
Okay. By the way, ang hinihingi ng House Prosecution Panel ay hanggang 30 trial day, Bombo Jello, para dito sa confidential and intelligence funds. So medyo mahaba-haba talaga ito. Although sa ngayon ay hindi po malinaw kung gugulin yung 30 days na yan, kasi yung sa Article 4 dati, 11 days ang hiningi pero 6 na araw lamang yung naipasok dito. Yung additional 3 days ay ginugol para dun sa iba pang mga usapin sa ilalim ng pagtalakay na. So 6 na araw sa ilalim ng Article 4, 30 days naman ang target dito sa Article 1 pero hindi pa malinaw kung gugulin yan. Sige, maraming salamat Bombo Jello. From time to time maki-update pa rin tayo dyan. Update din tayo mamaya kay Bombo Jaira sa panig ng defense team. Bombo Jello.
Mula dito sa Senado ng Pilipinas, ako si Bombo 𝐤𝐤𝐚𝐥 and this is Bombo Radio Philippines, the #1 radio network in the country. Your trusted source of news and information. Basta Radio, Bombo.
Meron na lamang ho tayong 14 minutes mga kabombo bago po sumapit ang last stress ng hapon at mamaya maki-update pa rin po tayo sa mga dagdag na development. Abangan din ho ninyo mamaya, mas marami mga balita ang ating pong tutunghayan na mga pagpasok po ng alas 6 ng gabi para po sa ating regular na newscast, ang Bombo Network News Evening Edition. Kung babalikan po natin yung nauna kong pahayag ng House Prosecution Panel, magsisimula na pong matunghayan yung mga controversial na pangalan na sinasabing mga recipient, mga tumanggap ng intelligence fund mula sa Office of the Vice President. At kanina nga, naging sentro ho ng objection ng defense team yung mistulang pagtawa ni Attorney Lorna Capunan doon sa ilang mga, or pangpuna ni Attorney Lorna Capunan doon sa ilang mga controversial na pangalan. Sabi, medyo kaduda-duda, mga pangalan. Tulad nung isang pangalan kanina, Andy Lim, which is kung pagsamahin mo yan, parang ibig sabihin madilim or andilim, napakadilim. Which is nag-object naman kanina si Attorney Michael Powa and pinanigan naman ni Senator Chis Escudero. Sabi niya kay Attorney Capunan kanina, alam mo kung anong tinutukoy ni Attorney Powa, which is pumabor din naman kinalaunan si Attorney Capunan, pero talagang binigyan po niya ng emphasis diin yung pagiging controversial nga nitong mga pangalan na nasa ilalim or na tumanggap ng confidential and intelligence fund mula ho sa office ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Dalawa ho yan dalawang controversial na pangalan. Yung isa, ang pilyedo niya, Pikit. Nabanggit din ho kanina yung pangalan na Mary Grace Piatos, pero hindi gaano nakapag-focus ang House Prosecution Panel ho dyan, mga kabombo. So mamaya, abangan po ninyo mga alas 6 ng gabi. Mas maraming mga balita ang ating pong ihahatid po sa inyo para ho dito sa ating Bombo Network News Evening Edition. Regular newscast na po ito at karagdagang mga development, mga update mula po sa ating mga kasamahan. Sa ibang mga updates or development din ho tayo sa usapin po ng impeachment trial laban kay Vice President Sara Duterte, mga kabombo. Kanina ay nagbahagi po ng press conference or nag-conduct ng press conference ang House Prosecution Panel. Ang sabi ni Attorney Benjamin Tulusa Jr., ang legal spokesperson ng House Panel, target nilang tapusin ngayong araw sana yung testimonya nitong si Attorney Wamil. Kanya nga lang, hindi po ito natapos. So yan yung manifestation ho kanina ng House Panel. Pero hindi po natapos dahil nga hurun sa haba ng testimonya ho niya. And then of course, yung nangyaring mga pagsusuri doon sa ilang mga dokumento, kinailangan pong suriin ng defense team yung yung notes nitong si Attorney Wamil, yung ilang mga dokumentong hawak po ng House Panel, yung mga dokumentong nagsasabi na yun yung mga sinuri niya ho lately or dati nung siya pa'y auditor ng Commission on Audit bago ho siya naging Attorney 5 ng Commission on Audit. So yun po yung mga nangyari ho kanina, mga kabombo. Kaya medyo napahaba, napatagal yung presentation kay Wamil ng House Prosecution Panel. So bukas, tutunghayan po muli natin ang kanyang testimonya at ang presentasyon ng House Prosecution and of course yung magiging cross-examination ng defense team tulad nga ng manifestation na kanina na Attorney Michael Powa. And update pa rin po tayo. Inulit po natin sa lahat po ng mga balitang hindi po natin natunghayan, hindi po ninyo napakinggan, napanood. Pwede po ninyong mapakinggan, mapanood sa pamamagitan po ng ating 32 stations nationwide sa Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. Lahat po yan fully digitalized, mga kabombo. At yan na po rin po ang kalipunan ng ating special coverage mula rito sa News Center Makati. This is Bombo Radio Philippines, the #1 radio network in the country, your trusted source of news and information. Basta Radio. Bombo!
Kung mahangin man lang sa gwa, pati ang aircon kag buksi ang mga bintana.